Yo, salute, man. What's going on, y'all? Okay, so listen, I saw the post going around where the guy was asking, or somebody's asking, what do you do when you're no longer attracted to your spouse? And there was a couple guys, there was a lot of guys that was like, yo, I can't relate. And they start validating their wife and all of those things. And I was like, that's dope. That's phenomenal. But I still want to answer the question that the guy actually asked because I think that's a real thing. Is there a season where I felt like I wasn't as attracted to my wife? Yes. There was definitely a season where I didn't feel as attracted to my wife. And you know what I identified in that season? That there was a disconnect amongst us. So when you're in a disconnect with your spouse, it probably is going to be hard for you to feel attracted to them in the same way. Now, the disconnect can be for several reasons. Let me talk about some of mine. All right. One reason there was a disconnect was very early on in our marriage, porn. Watching porn is going to create a disconnect between you and your spouse where you're not going to see your spouse the same way as you once did because you're looking at this person and now you're lusting and being attracted to this person. So your spouse is not going to be the same way because that look that you used to give your spouse, you're giving to this thing here. So, boom. This is something that I had to cut out of our marriage. We've been married 16 years now. Porn is not an issue in our marriage. Second thing is comparing your spouse to another woman, similar to the first one, right? You comparing in any way, comparison is the thief of all joy. So, no, you won't feel as attracted to your spouse if you're constantly comparing her to other women or you're comparing her to what the world says women or your woman should actually look like. So now you're caught in the comparison. So no, you're not going to see your spouse the same way because you're comparing them to this made up person, right? So we have to eliminate that. The other thing is maybe there's some resentment, some unresolved resentment that you have towards your spouse that you have not talked about or you haven't let them know, where you feel unheard or you feel you don't feel understood or you don't feel validated in some type of way. That's going to cause a disconnect amongst you and your spouse, which is going to lead to you not feeling attracted to your spouse. This is why marriages can get to a point where you feel like you're just roommates. You all are just passing by. And it's because you're at a point where you have your own issues that you have not talked about, or maybe you tried to and they weren't received well. So now you're feeling neglected in your marriage, you're feeling unheard, unvalidated, unappreciated. So the attraction that you have towards your spouse will not be the same. There was a season where I felt unattracted to my spouse, but it wasn't because she lost the attraction. It was because I was involved in other things that diverted my attention from her to these things, or I was caught up in anger or resentment. As I'm sure there's been times where she's looked at me and been like, this dude right here, because there may have been times where I made her feel unheard, unseen, unappreciated, and there was a disconnect. She felt the disconnect. So I'm sure there are seasons where you're going to feel this, but overall, my wife is fine. I love that woman. Overall, I still get excited when she goes to the shower. She like, yo, I'm about to go take a shower. I'm like, me too. I'm about to be sitting right here like a kid that just seen that body for the first time. And every time I walk past her, I'm gonna hug her, I'm gonna kiss her, I'm gonna rub her butt. Something's going to happen where I am that attracted to my wife. And it's because I've eliminated all of these other things, and we have a rule of or a principle of reconciliation in our home. So therefore, we're not going to walk around and she not feel hurt or I don't feel hurt, because forgiveness is a part of that. Because we know that if unforgiveness is there, then that's gonna cause a disconnect. And when that disconnect comes, that's when I'm looking at you like, why am I with you? And you looking at me like, why I'm with him? He ain't even all that. She ain't even cute. See, and you see the way she chew her food and all of these things become unattractive because of disconnect. Not because of a real unattraction, but because of your heart. You hear when you see what I'm saying? But that woman is bad. She's got, shoot, she had 3 kids. She supports me. She looks out for me, and her brain is phenomenal. You see what I'm saying? So I would say that there is a season where you will feel that. You may feel that. And maybe you never go through the season. That's cool. A lot of brothers said they've never experienced that season before. That is incredible. So you may have already dealt with the things of your heart. But if you are in that season, then there's some things in your heart that you have to deal with. Or there's some things in with each other that you have to deal with. And that's how you regain that attraction. That's how you open the room, like you remove the barriers for that attraction. Every time there's a disconnect, remember, you start to put barriers in between you and your spouse, and we don't want that. Because then it's not necessarily the physical attraction that is fading. It's literally the inner attraction. You're looking at the ugliness within each other, and you're like, and that's because of the heart. That's because of anger. That's because of resentment. That's because of sadness. That's because of all of those things. And you're like, y'all feel me? So shout out to y'all. Let's go. I'm loving it. All right. But I just also wanted to throw another perspective in the ring. And let me know what y'all think below. Let's get it. Salute.